Martin, your beloved Arsenal, we'll get to that later on, but has it sunk in now, the disappointment of that in Munich?
Well, it was disappointing the other night, and it just, when you want the players badly to perform, just when you matters most, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Run out of steam, Jim. But I think it's a little bit different to losing games last season at the end of that run-in. Do you remember we lost 3 from 6 after only losing 3 from 32? This feels a bit different. Do you remember we bounced back at the weekend? Or, of course, the other 2 teams have gone out of Europe as well.
Yeah.
So that's disappointment around. So it's about bouncing back.
It is about bouncing back. I mean, for the first time since 2015, no English sides in the semi-finals, as I said, of the UEFA Champions League or the UEFA Europa League. Liverpool's hopes of ending Klopp's reign with a European trophy over this morning after they failed to overturn a first leg deficit against Atalanta. I don't know, maybe it was never on. Was it ever on? 3-0 down from the first leg at Anfield. Was it ever on? Jurgen Klopp spoke post-match.
We didn't lose the game tonight or the tie tonight, we lost it at home. And that's why we have to, and it's very easy to congratulate Atalanta Bergamo because they deserve to go through. When you win a tie against us 3-1 in this, especially this way, you deserve to go through, absolutely. But I loved our game anyway, especially the start. We were flying into this game. I loved the commitment, the desire. Disappointed that we didn't go through, but not frustrated or angry or something like that. Now we can focus on the league, and that's what we will do.
So they'll focus on the league. I mean, Simon, Martin, it seems to me, Simon, it's far from the Swans I wanted.
No, I mean, he would have liked to have seen himself. I mean, ultimately, they were tipped to win this tournament, certainly the Europa League, and to go out in the manner that they have done. I mean, I was disappointed with them a little more. I thought there was going to be this chaos that sort of Danny Murphy had prophesied.
Yeah.
I mean, they get the start that they wanted. They get the perfect start. If Salah scores the goal, the second one, where he gets start opportunity, which you would have expected a really on his game Salah, then it would have been a game on, because I think Atalanta would have wobbled. I think Jurgen Klopp says it in his press conference that we had them in moments. They came out looking strong. We got them early, and you could see them starting to lose their resolve. And a Liverpool side that was on blob would have done Atalanta last night and would have got themselves, but they weren't.
Salah, for some reason, has completely dried up. I mean, that's hit his shin there. He's got time, hasn't he, to think about it. It's the perfect, you think this would be the perfect opportunity, and then he fluffs his lines. They're creating opportunities. I think it was a bit of restoring pride, but if they'd have scored at that point, I think Liverpool could have gone on to get right back into that competition. But as it stands, it just sort of ebbed away. A win is important, though, Jim, to sort of get it back and look towards the weekend. But it should have been an emphatic victory, and it could have really turned their season around.
I wonder what they'll end up with now, though, Simon.
League Cup.
Do you think?
Yeah.
He's going to leave having won the Carabao Cup and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, winning any cup is an achievement, so let's not denigrate the achievement. When he did say at the time, whether he was getting it in early, this is the most meaningful moment, given the way they won that League Cup, given the fact they had young kids out on the pitch. But I think that now I don't see too many twists. I think there may be one, but I think Manchester City are going to roll into winning the Premier League, and it'd be a debate about who finishes second, I think.
Yeah. We'll obviously be looking at it in more detail further down the line. West Ham, meantime, minutes away from looking at the first team to beat Bayer Leverkusen this season. They ultimately came up short. Now, I don't know about you, Martin. Last night when it came up, it went to 1-1 and Leverkusen got their equaliser. There was a kind of warmth around the place. There was a kind of ripple of applause that was coming from West Ham fans. I don't know about you. I think it came through to me last night. There was a kind of feeling of appreciation for the effort West Ham put in last night and the way David Moyes maybe went about it. Get to that in a second. This was Moyes post-match.
I have to say, I think in 2 games, we're playing a really good team. I thought tonight we had the chance to go 2 or 3 up at one point. We probably missed the opportunities which were really important. But overall, I couldn't fault the players at all. I thought they were fantastic. Their action. If I was going to go out of Europe, I wanted to go out playing like that. And it was a terrific performance against, as I said before, a good side.
You see, I think there was a response last night, Martin, from the West Ham fans, the majority of them, who are either showing their appreciation to the team and what they'd done, who are this season, but last, of course, in Europe. And this is where it ends. And maybe showing their appreciation to David Moyes. And
well,
this
I hope
is
so.
this is where it might soon end.
Well, there's this question mark, Jim, as to whether or not he's going to sign a new contract, which is just, for some reason that contract's sitting there, whether that's to do with budgets, transfer budgets for next season. There's clearly an offer. They want him to continue. I think he, by and large, has done a good job there. And last night they're playing a very good team by Leverkusen. I thought half-time couldn't come quick enough for them. I think, once it got to half-time, second half, they came out a totally different team and they really went after West Ham. They seem to run out of steam, Jim. And they don't really go and press. They sit quite deep. But there's been progress for me there in their performance last night. Their record in Europe has been magnificent, West Ham. So they can be proud of that.
Yeah,
but
I think at that. I'm seeing the messages coming in as you're speaking as Jim, a fan. Guys, I'm Moyes' biggest critic. Last night, though, we just want to see an effort in an attempt to win this game, and they gave everything very happy hammer this Friday morning. Interesting now that not necessarily the result that's pleasing the West Ham fans. It's the performance, right? And I think that's the crux of everything for West Ham fans who are angry. They're not seeing the attacking football, flowing football that they want to see, and that's where the balance is. But seeing as he puts this piece together, this jigsaw piece together, when you look at some of those players Jim he's now using, although he's let some go, hasn't he? He's let some go on loan. Yeah. Not available last night. Could have done with extra alternatives. He does need a bigger squad if he's going to attack Europe. You see, I wonder last night, Sam, see Moyes take his final bow in the European stage with West Ham.
My gut feel, well, yes, I think certainly on the European stage, because West Ham, I don't think are going to qualify for Europe next season. And I think the way that the Premier League is shaping up with the amount of clubs that are there and thereabouts, I don't see West Ham in any short order being in Europe anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong. So certainly on that question, I think that's probably a fair analysis, because it'll be at least a couple of years before they can do that, as a matter of course, certainly a year. And my gut feel tells me, and my nose tells me, that we probably won't see David Moyes in the West Ham dugout next season. Not because I have any particular intelligence behind that observation. I just think that we are seeing David Moyes now becoming probably a little bit disillusioned with the constant questioning and the influence. And he is aware of it. Yeah. I mean, I spoke to him last year when I bumped into him at an event which I spoke at with David Dean. Yeah. And I spoke to David Moyes, and you could sense that David was aware. He was irritated at the way the media were reporting his experiences. He was irritated with the observations about how much money West Ham had been given when it wasn't quite along those lines. And I felt at the time that you seem to be plugged into other things that are less important. And now we rolled forward a year. They've won a European competition. They're in the top half of the Premier League, yet still a very large and dissenting voice that you cannot ignore. And we often hear it inside football stadiums, and all of us are guilty of going, oh, that 1,000 in the corner are reflective of the other 50,000, but they're often not. Yeah. But it feels
But the fans want to go to the next level, don't they? So they'll see them now in
the next level of performance. I'm not sure how they're going to go to the next level of attainment, because where is that?
Well, they've only won 2 games in the last 7.
Yeah.
They want more.
Granted, it's not just they want more. Even when they win games, they want to win games with a different brand of football.
Yeah. Yeah, even when they won a European title, he was still coming in for some flack. They went out last night, though, as you rightly say, Martin, to a special side in Bayer Leverkusen, who quite incredibly, I think they last lost at Bochum on the 27th of May last year, 328 days and 44 matches ago. I mean, it's a sensational run. And who's to say they don't go all the way and win it? It's Roma for them next. I hope the Germans win it. Granted, Xhaka spoke post-match.
I know in my previous years that always difficult to be here at West Ham, but I think the most important thing is that to keep ourselves in the game. With 1-0, we knew that everything is still open, still through, but we knew that we need to play different in the second half. And in my opinion, we had 2 different halves, one bad one very good one, and over 180 minutes, I think that the better team went through.
Still unbeaten. How much is it now you want to desperately go through the whole season and be invincible?
If you are so close, you want to try it for sure, but we know that to win the Europa League, you need to be unbeaten, so we need to keep it, both as well in the season. We won the league last Sunday, but we have still the hunger to achieve something else, something more than special than the championship. So 5 games to go, Sunday in Dortmund, and to keep going, to keep belief, to keep working like we are doing at the moment, and let's see what happens end of the season.
Nobody better to ask than Martin Keown. What does it take to go unbeaten?
Blimey, you have that momentum. It's interesting. They've just won 10 on the bounce in the Bundesliga. You can see that when it matters, they know what to do at the right moments, Jim. They were just managing it till half time. You could see coming off the pitch, there was a little bit of a meeting with the players. They knew it wasn't right. Alonso makes the adjustments. And I thought then they were magnificent in the second half. I do think a little bit West Ham playing a slightly different way, trying to press, trying to win the ball, trying to play more with the ball. Didn't really have the energy to do that, to keep those levels up, and they knew that. They knew their opponent eventually wouldn't be able to sustain that effort, and they come through. So they're going to need that between now and the end of the season. Some big games coming up for them. They play Dortmund next, which is not going to be an easy game. They've qualified themselves for the latter stage of the Champions League. So that's probably the big one, Jim, the next one.
Okay, the next one comes this weekend for Liverpool. They are third this morning in the Premier League, same points as Arsenal, 2 points behind Manchester City. Third. Liverpool fans, I just wonder how you're feeling this morning, because it's looking now that obviously if it's down to the Premier League, you want to win the Premier League, and then that would be two for Klopp as he leaves, having already won the Carabao Cup. What are your true feelings, though? Is it a reflection on the news that Jurgen gave when he on that famous Friday morning, I'm leaving at the end of the season? Things haven't really been quite right since then, have they? Where are your thoughts now with Klopp, Liverpool, your club, and what lies ahead? 03717 223344 81089.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.